I'm Scott Fishman.
I'm John Dwoskin.
And this is the 7-Minute Salesman.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, Fish. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, John. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. It's nice to have amazing weather sitting here on September 27th, 2020. So it's great looking outside, and it's going to be a great day.
Yes. This portion of the weather podcast is brought to you by Weather.
It reminds me of like my grandparents in Ohio. Every time we would come in, how's the weather? Da, 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 da. But I will say this: what is amazing to me is that fourth quarter is legitimately around the corner. And we've talked about a lot of this on the show. It is time to buckle down, get hyper focused, and figure out ways to grow your pipeline and your business so you can finish the year strong and start next year off with a great quarter.
Yeah. End strong, have some momentum going into next year and run. Yeah.
And I think, one of the most important things that we've talked about a lot on this, not the most, but one of the key things is, if you want to double your business, we've talked a little bit about in the past, you got to double your asks. And so asking is so important. And I know you're going to kick us off with a way to ask for things that I think is framed really well.
Yes. Well, Webster's defines asking as, I kid. So, John, there's something that I've always done and talked about and taught people. And I it's funny because, you do something and you don't actually know what the actual name for it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's this thing of, hey, if you ask someone for a favor and they do a small favor for you, they actually like you more. Or if you do a small favor for somebody else, you actually like that person more, whether you actually dislike that person beforehand, you like them more as you do a favor for them. And I always talked about the idea of walking into a meeting and saying, who has a plumber? And like 3 or 4 people raise their hand. And it's weird. Like you always want to give your guys information or your gals information. And it makes you feel good. Like you get that little serotonin rush, that endorphin rush, because you did a favor for somebody. And I've always used that. I've talked about it. I've taught it. I didn't realize that it's actually like there's a term for it. Yeah, it's a thing. It's the Benjamin Franklin effect. And
I think this is amazing. Look, can we just back up for a second? Because I think sometimes people have a really hard time asking somebody for help. Right. Asking somebody for a favor. I know it's a skill set that I have had to really grow in myself, and I see it in a lot of other people. It's like that courage to ask, that ability to ask and not feel like you're putting somebody out, it's like, so what I love about what you're saying is it really kind of flips that upside down. Yeah. I mean, it really turns it around and says, hey, if you ask somebody for a favor, you're actually doing them a favor in a way.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of strange like that. And it's so simple. It really is. It's such a simple concept. And I had my team run through an exercise this past week where we started off, we had to deliver some news. It was actually good news, but we delivered this news. And then rather than asking, hey, what are you working on? What kind of business can you send me? And closing, we kind of pivoted to, hey, John, I got a quick favor to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And then it piqued your interest. And then I explained to you, I gave a little bit of a compliment, maybe might have buttered you up a little bit. And then, asked you for my favor. And it was just literally what we were asking for, was just, how do you handle this? I want to help some other folks, and I trust your opinion. So I want to know how you would handle this. And believe it or not, the conversations that it opened up and the business that it resulted in was unbelievable to me. I did not expect it.
Right. So you're talking about, hey, I have a favor and ask somebody for a piece of advice. So can we break this down into mentors, prospects, and clients?
Yeah.
Right. So let's start with maybe mentors. So, right, asking a mentor for advice, I think, is a lot easier. right?
Yeah,
You
for
ask
sure.
somebody, hey, you're a mentor of mine. Can I ask you a favor? Can you share with me, da 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 da. And when I think about just the endorphins or the energy exchange or the this, like that always it feels good to ask that person and they feel great giving you that information. But I never thought about it as somebody like that they would actually like me better. Like I never kind of framed it in that way.
Right. It
Yeah.
builds a bond. It absolutely does. And it's, I'll go back to the plumber thing. Like, hey, John, you have a plumber for me. And you're like, oh, I got a guy. And you get the phone number for me. And it's so exciting to send me that contact card. You text it to me.
It is. I
And then,
love that.
and then you're like, hey, did Bob take care of you? It's like, you know what? Bob's a good guy. And then like now, like everyone's got the feels. We always talk
Yeah.
about the feels.
The
But
feels.
everyone's got the feels. And I got a favor from you and you felt good and everyone won. And Bob
Yeah.
got business out of Bob the
Yeah.
plumber.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. All right. So what about the prospect?
So with the prospect, it's, prospects, they're expecting us to close, right? They're expecting
Right.
us to, interrogate them with our fact finding mission. They're expecting us to sell them,
Yeah.
right? So we are selling them when we use the Ben Franklin effect, but we're selling them on us. We're not selling them on a product. We're not selling them on using our service. We're selling them on us. We want them to like us more. So when we do this, it kind of gets, not only gets your foot in the door, but it keeps it there.
Well, it's interesting because I've always taught salespeople when you're cold calling and you're talking to a prospect, one of the things you want to talk to them or ask them is, hey, can I ask you a favor? Can you share with me how you got in the business? Right. And so I never really, but so that would be categorized as part of a Ben Franklin effect, right? You're asking them a favor to share with you how they got in the business. And that creates an incredible bond with people, right?
It's Dale Carnegie 101. You get people talking about themselves. They love you more.
Yeah. But I always love when I learn something where it's where you can frame it. I just interviewed a guy on my Think Business podcast. He wrote I've been meaning to tell you about this. He wrote an entire book about this philosophy. And then someone said, isn't this I can't pronounce the Japanese philosophy behind it. It was like, Iga something, or I can't pronounce it, but he goes, this is the Japanese philosophy. He goes, it is, but he just wrote a book about it, and who knows along the way, like if he like uncovered that and didn't even realize it. And then he wrote a book and said, but just going back. So mentors asking for advice, a favor, asking them for advice, prospects, a favor, asking them how they got in the business. And then what about clients?
Clients, literally, I mean, it depends. The way I was working it was with existing clients this past week. And literally I just said, hey, you've been doing this a while. You're good at this. I trust your opinion. I want to know how you would handle this. And I had a real scenario. It wasn't like I was just bullshitting. Like I had a real scenario that was going on and it sparked such good conversation.
Yeah.
Such good conversation. And opened up so many doors. It just really, it seems simple because I always talk about doing it, but I never actually ran it as a quote unquote sales play.
Yeah.
And it was great.
But so a talking point or a question would say, or maybe this is maybe more of a close, but Mr. Mrs. Client, Mr. Mrs. Prospect, can I ask you a favor? And then just, open it up. Whether it's for a referral, I'm growing my business, I know you mentioned this. I love that. I love finding things that frame things so simplistically, like you're talking about. I remember reading this book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. I don't know if have you read that book? It's a great book. And one of the things he talks about, the whole book is about resistance. And it talks about, we resist what we need to do most. And resistance but it frames everything around resistance. And when I read it, I thought, oh, I love the way it just like, it helped streamline my thought process and frame like what I was resisting so I could end up not resisting it.
I like that.
And so for me, the Ben Franklin effect, I would think for many salespeople who don't know about it, this is going to really help people.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so simple. It's not like I had this giant light bulb and that went off and I'm, revolutionizing the sales world. It's just thinking about these small things. Easy for you to say, social psychology of sales, right? the things that when we started this podcast, that's one of the main things we talked about was the psychology behind it, not just the tactical and practical. So I think this takes us right down that path. And then I also wanted to spin it in the other direction, right? Because if I'm asking a prospect or a client a favor, right, and they're doing me a favor, they're going to like me more. So we're strengthening that bond on that side, right?
Yeah.
So now what about if we are doing it, we want to strengthen the bond on our side. So I have a play that I will share. And again, this is not patented and it's not difficult. It's easy. Everyone has Amazon Prime. If you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you, but everyone has Amazon Prime, right?
How do you live without Amazon Prime?
Right. So there's a thing that I do with my team. We call it random acts of primeness. So not random acts of kindness, just random acts of primeness. I love that. And when you think about how Amazon Prime works, you can literally send a $3 candy bar to somebody for free, right? Yeah. So why not spend, $20-$50 a month just on random ass shit for people? Like I had a client that had a headache. This loan that we were closing for him was a headache, right? So we came up with this idea. We sent him, we were up late until like 10:30 at night working on this. It was like an emergency thing. We got it done. We all high-fived and there's a lot of stress, right? So what we did is we sent this guy a 4-pack of Red Bull and a bottle of Tylenol.
Love it.
And it was literally like the best. Like he was so excited to get that. We got a chuckle out of it and it cost $6. Yeah. Right. And it's like just those little things. And now like his account executive and he are buddies. And now it's just, all we did was spend $6 and, make a joke out of, something that really at the end of the day, when you think about it, we still got the job done. It was just a little bit of a stress case and everyone won. Everyone was happy.
I love it. What I love about that is, and we've talked about a lot of this on the show, is you don't have to send expensive presents. You don't have to spend a lot of money to make a big impact. And many of the times it is the small things, the $6, the $3, the small things that you send that make a much bigger impact than the, $300 whatever you send or $200 or, gift certificate to Capital Grill. Not that Capital Grill isn't great, but it's just more personal and meaningful. It's great. Random acts.
This portion of the weather podcast is brought to you by Capital Grill.
I love it. Random acts of primeness and the Ben Franklin effect. Game changers to end your year strong.
Yeah. Build the bonds. Yeah. And again, you're not, the thing I like about this is we're not overtly asking for the business. All we're doing is strengthen a relationship. And even if you're in a one and done situation, a B2C business, and you literally just send someone a little gift, like it goes so far. A Starbucks gift card, a Starbucks virtual gift card, like who doesn't want that? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, those are great. And on a different note too, for Starbucks, you can also customize Starbucks cards if you don't want to send virtual. You like the Starbucks business, you can customize them. They're a great gift. Yeah. Fish, this has been amazing. The Ben Franklin effect and random acts of primeness. I mean, those are key, amazing things. I love doing this podcast with you. One, because I love connecting with you. But I learned something new every time we do it. That was great. To all the salespeople, implement asking, this stuff. Can I ask you a favor? Research the Ben Franklin effect and get that Prime account going.
Right now, real quick, John, I just want to ask you, because you have so many podcasts and you're so prolific at this now, like what if I was going to start a new podcast, what system should I be using? Like where should I host my podcast?
Well, I host on Libsyn for everything.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why do you ask?
Just asking you for a small favor so you like me more.
All right. Gotcha. All right. I like how you brought that back. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Libsyn. Can I introduce you to anybody at Libsyn that I
know? Such a weird name. Libsyn. Like
yeah. So Fish, take us home. What other sage wisdom you got today?
You know what, John? At the end of the day, I don't have much. I think we have some good stuff here and put it in practice this week. It's a softball. It's an easy softball, but I'm telling you will strengthen relationships. Go forward, make money.
Yeah, I love it. I'll just say one last thing. Have the courage to actually do it, right? I say ask a favor, like get out of your comfort zone and ask.
I love it.
Yeah.
Be brave. Be strong. Be silent. Be still.
Thanks, Fish. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Now, no excuses. It's time to put everything you listen to into action. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop listening and doing nothing with this information. Take this information, implement it into your day, kick some ass, grow your business, grow your sales, make more money, have more fun, have a better life, period. The end.
What he said.